Hello, everyone. This is Alexis Cohen, and I'm your host of Artist Ascension Masterclass, creative practices to accelerate healing, amplify your light, and activate transformation all around the world. And today we have a very special guest, Yvonne Perry. Yvonne, as a celestial walk-in, helps people integrate multidimensional soul aspects. She is a practitioner and activator of light codes, coaching people to manage energy, connect with higher realms, and create positive change in their lives. Yvonne is the author of Walk-ins Among Us and Light Language Emerging. And I just want to briefly say before we bring Yvonne here, I had the absolute honor of working with Yvonne. I don't even know how I found her. It's one of those mystical, magical moments where I was working, as a lot of you know, I've been working in this new way through my art. Light codes have been coming in really strongly, and light languages. And I didn't know what was happening to me. I didn't know. And so I think I was just researching online, and your Yvonne's website popped up, and it was like, yes. So I'm so excited for you to meet her and for us to work with her. Hi, Yvonne.
Hi. Hi, Alexis. Hi, everyone.
Beautiful. So let's just jump in. So first and foremost, like we've been doing in a lot of the interviews, talking about ascension. So what does ascension mean to you? How would you define it?
Well, ascension is like a coming home to yourself, coming home to who you truly are without all the fabrication and the domestication and programming that we have received during our childhood that causes us to live as someone else wants us to, or to live to please somebody else, or to stay out of trouble, or stay on somebody's good side, or to get what we want. So the ascension for me is stripping away all that facade and really coming into who you are as spirit in a human form, the unlimited power that we all contain through our creativity, through our songs, through just being our vibration here on this planet. That light has not been able to shine because of all the programming that we've been through. So to me, the ascension is getting past all that egoic programming and truly living as the divine being that we know ourselves to be on some level, but bringing that into this level, into this manifestation, into this world and this earth.
Beautiful. And, so what I would love to talk with you about, so that definition is like absolutely deeply resonates. And, the way that I've worked with you and what had started opening up for me in the last few years where I wanted to learn more about was, there's just this new kind of art that was coming through. And it was this feeling like I was being called forward as this channel, and, from this very, very high vibrational light. And it was like a resounding yes. And like saying yes to that light has really put me and many people on this very unique, oftentimes intense path. Mm-hmm. And I would love to hear from you, like, what are you noticing about artists, and I'm also a shamanic practitioner, like healers, like what are we being called forward into?
I think we're being called forward into our intuition more and more and more. Because that is our internal guidance. I think what we've been programmed to do is to live out there and allow everything out there to influence us and to make that who we are, where our creativity does right the opposite. It brings us into our alignment with our muse, or with our musician, or with our creative artist within, and broadcast or vibrate that outward through some manifest form, whether that's art or music or jewelry making or painting or whatever creative endeavor that you could be, even creating a business that helps to promote well-being in the world. So to me, that's the intuition. That's the creative power, is our intuition, and it's a divine link to expressing who we are. And we have taken so much of art and music out of our schools now.
Yeah.
It's not part of our education system. And that, to me, feels like a detriment to our children, because that is who they are. That's how they express themselves. And when we don't give them opportunity to do that, then they have no other recourse but to trust what somebody else is saying to them, is guiding them, is telling them to do, is telling them their self-worth. Whereas if a child is just really encouraged to be in his or her intuition, into that creative process, you will find them blossoming and believing in themselves in such a way that the programming does not allow.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. And you're just speaking such truth right now. And I'm sure for people who are watching this, like, I feel most myself when I'm painting or writing. It's like, that is for me the coming home. That is almost the ascension process. It's like that remembering that you're an artist. Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. So can you share with us, what are light codes?
Light codes are like what runs the computer. It's got like a binary code system behind it that tells it and instructs it what to do. And when I refer to programming, I'm talking about some codes that were not set up for the evolution of the human soul. In fact, it was very detrimental toward us finding our path and being who we are. So the codes, the light codes that I'm working with, are actually speaking to the soul, to the DNA, to the cells of the body, to anything that's going on in your life, speaking on an energetic level and providing divine instructions to help restore distorted patterns into the beautiful alignment that will allow our creativity to flourish and allow us to truly find joy and happiness that comes from living in the moment. And I think the reason we artists love being in our creative is because it brings us into the moment. We're not worried about what happened yesterday. We're just so engulfed and so involved with our creative process that we're in that moment. We're in that divine moment. And that's meditation in itself. That's our divine connection being worked on a very organic level.
Yeah, I was just thinking this morning how much life is changing. Like, it feels more and more sacred. Like, every moment, it's just this like sacred, it just feels like the sacred nectar just flowing through everything, and that the art is like activating that. It's just been really powerful. Yeah. And so where do these light codes come from?
I think that they are from cosmic beings, the ones who helped create the human body, the divine template for the body. Just like, that's like saying, where does the internet come from? We tap into it, right? We just tap into it. Most of us don't question it, but yet it's running on all these codes. And then if you're a computer programmer, you know more about how that's actually interfacing and playing out with the user experience. Well, for me, I'm just connecting and kind of like plugging into the mainframe so that the codes that I'm speaking or singing or writing are coming through source in a way that speaks to the very basic template or framework of that soul, of a person's life, of what they're creating. It's all with codes, it's all with sounds, mathematical formulas, binary codes even. When you say that you're really vibing with somebody, it's probably because you've got your 0001 and they've got their 0001, and you are a perfect match for one another. It feels like a twin flame, feels like a soulmate. And then you come into contact with somebody who's maybe living more in the programming, and their code's like 0101, and here you are with your 0001, and it's like, whoa, calamity. There's a clash, or they're just this off-putting feeling about being in that energy because it's just not a vibratory match. It's like if in an orchestra, if one instrument was totally out of tune and was trying to play along with the rest of the orchestra, that one's going to be noticed a little more than the others, and somebody's going to want to fix it. And so that's what these codes are. It's like finding the distortion and repatterning it back to the divine programming or the matrix codes that it was intended to have when it came into being in a physical body.
Okay, so I have two questions about that. Okay, so one, how do we all come into harmony if we are all operating in these different codes.
Mhm.
And then the second question that I had is, so when I create, I like the download is like, these are codes and they're very symbolic,
Mhm.
look like these symbols. And then someone else will say, oh, these are light codes. And they look very, very different than the ones that I'm drawing. Are those different languages? Why do they look so different?
I think they could be just like we have CSS and C++ and all these other different languages,
Yeah.
HTML. All of those are different languages. They look very different, but they're still orchestrating an instruction to follow for the computer to follow. So each of us likely has our own language, our own vibration that's coming through with the creative process. So they look different, just like you and I look different, or
Mm-hmm.
just like, a dog looks different from the cat because they have different codes. And even I love goats, and
Mm.
I've been watching goats on TV, and I'm just amazed at the different sounds that they make. Some of them sound like a baby crying, and that's that particular one sound, but yet they're all goats, and each one having its own unique sound makes up the herd. And so we're the same way. We're all speaking our own language or making our own vibration in our unique way, that makes up the whole, that makes up humanity. And yet we are one, and we are connected. So when we speak our languages or write our codes to one another, we may resonate with some more than others. We just get
Mm-hmm.
along with some people more than others, and it's a vibrational thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting when I've done code work and I've drawn codes and painted codes, and I work with a client and I, called for them to work with the code that has come through, and they meditate, they have this opening. And so I don't know if that code is their language, but
Mhm.
there's some medicine and energy coming through that code
Yeah.
from the guides that I'm
Hmm.
working with that
Hmm.
is like activating a healing or an opening for them.
Yes, yes. And if you're speaking the light language, you realize that all this creative process is channeling. It is source coming through you, coming through your fingers, coming through your drawing, coming through your voice or your vocal cords. So as we open to that and allow that channel to come through, source energy may take the form of the language of one of the guides of the person that you're working with. And so I may
Mm,
be channeling one of their guides that's saying something in the coded language
yeah.
that that soul particularly needs at that moment. Other times it may be one of my guides speaking to them because they have found a commonality or a place that they can plug in where there is that resonance, and I can just be the flowing channel for those codes to come through. I don't try to tell the codes what to do. There's no need. They are instructions. So they come in and they do what they need to do according to the divine plan, according to source energy, that wants the highest and best for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
wants to restore.
Wants to restore and heal. Yeah. So for artists, I mean, this project is here to meet you wherever you are in your journey. Like, what I'm seeing a lot is people who have never considered themselves creative are being called to paint, and then these symbols are coming through. Or so, in my case, and I know for a lot of my clients and students, it's okay. We identify as artists and healers, and there's like something new coming in,
Mhm.
and like it can be exciting and a little scary because it's a lot of power and energy. So what do you say to those folks who are experiencing that?
Well, I ask you the question, do you want to continue as you are, playing small, or do you want to open up and be everybody and everything that you are already called to be? Sometimes you just have to be Nike and just do it and just
Yeah.
allow and to trust that what's coming through you is creative divine source, and that it's never going to lead you someplace you're not ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's never going to take away your free will. Even if you're channeling, you still have the ability to say, stop, I don't want to do that. So trusting your guidance, I think, is part of trusting your intuition. It's part of allowing that creative process to flow. And sometimes you just have to look at the fear and go, I see you. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to open up. I realize that that's an option. I can continue to play small, or I can open up to something grander
Yeah.
and see where it leads me.
Yeah.
It takes courage.
It takes so much courage, and it's it's like a transformational process. There's like a deep letting go. And I've shared this on another interview, like having this project be released at this time of year is very intentional, because it's, we're in that space of, we're like really letting go, going into the roots and really letting go. So as we move into the next year, it's like, whew, we have all of this space. So yeah, it can be a sometimes uncomfortable and scary process, but it's like when you have that guide of just do it, have that power.
Sometimes you just have to. Every day we probably wake up to having to do something that we really don't want to do that day. It's not like on our favorites list, but we do it because it's a necessity.
Yeah.
Because it's going to make the day flow better. I think it's the same way in releasing and letting go of anything that doesn't serve you. Sometimes you just have to do it. You have to let it go and say, that's just really not my path anymore. I don't believe that anymore. How can I open to something grander? And you'll be surprised at how the universe will answer that.
Yeah. And so for people, I know a lot of people watching this are highly sensitive. And so this process can feel painful. It can feel intense. It can feel like a lot of elation. So how can folks who are really sensitive support themselves through this process?
I think you've got to really listen to your body, do a lot of self-care, following that intuition. If it doesn't feel right to do it that day, or if it's causing you pain, maybe stop for a moment and just kind of sit with that and say, is this something that I should continue to do and to push through? Or is this my time to relax and allow it to integrate? We need the integration period. Sometimes we try to push on to the next thing and we're not ready because we haven't allowed ourselves to sit silently, or to take the extra nap or to do the creative process that's really going to help to bring it in. A lot of the codes that I am working with are integration codes, where you're integrating pieces of yourself on multidimensional levels. You're bringing in a higher aspect of yourself. Well, the body sometimes doesn't know what to do with that. And if the body is still vibrating at a different level that doesn't match the new codes, then we have to send some codes to the body, to the physical cells of the body, to reprogram it and help it raise the vibration to be able to be compatible to house and hold the new frequencies.
Okay. So as you're sharing this, I'm thinking about the sessions that I've had with you, and just how they are unlike any other sessions. I've been doing healing work for a long time, worked with a lot of teachers, and what opens up, like what I am able to see in those sessions are, you guys, it's like this deep peeling back the layer of what is operating everything. And you're doing this through your voice. Like we're not even having so much a little bit interaction, but it's really this download that you're getting. And are you working with, I mean, it sounds like multiple languages are coming through. Yeah.
And I think the languages sometimes are frequency bands that we're actually like dialing to a different station. Like, okay, let's work with the body codes. Oh, let's work with the DNA. Let's work with past life. Let's work with Akashic records. So they come in differently vibrational, because that's what you need to access at that moment.
Yeah, I really feel like I'm being like a computer, reprogrammed and seeing everything. When did this first start for you, where you started channeling these light languages?
Well, light language started for me in 1994. So that is something that's been going on for a long, long time.
Yeah.
It was 2013, I believe, when I was introduced to someone who was writing the codes. And I thought, oh, I can do that. And so the first inclination I had was to try to create it with my mind, to copy what this person was doing, to copy what somebody else was putting out. And the more I just let go of it having to look like something else. In fact, I started using my left hand, and I started using, starting at the right side of the page and working backwards, and at the top and working down, or in the middle and working out, because I wanted to get out of the programmed, we start at the left side and an A looks like this. And so the more I could just let that, I realized, whoa, this is like automatic writing. My hands are wanting to move of their own. I don't know what's coming next. And it would get faster and faster so that I couldn't control it. And once that energy was moving through it, it was like, oh, that's the way you write the codes. It's not about copying somebody else's. It's about what is original and unique about you that wants to be expressed here.
You know, that's really interesting. So I'm working on a big piece right now, and where I'm going within the piece, like I'm going into depths I haven't yet gone into. It's almost like the painting and the code is like grounding me so I can
Mm-hmm.
go really deep, and then I come back with
Mm-hmm.
a shape, and it's, you know, and it's been a big process, and it's not like a threatening painting in any way, but it's been one of the most exhilarating and terrifying paintings I've ever created because of where I'm going. And the painting is like, I've got you, I'm grounding it, just keep going, and like weaving it in. Have you experienced something like that too?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think what you're doing there is that you're traveling interdimensionally, and sometimes even into the underworld or into the programs that are malfunctioning, and you are correcting viruses
Mm-hmm.
and restoring integrity with those codes. And so when you bring back that symbol, then it's like pure light now vibrates through that symbol because of the journey that you made to get to that. You corrected a lot of things and realigned things on that journey, so that when you brought it back, all you needed was the symbol to say, here it is,
Yep.
my gift.
Yep. Wow. See, that's why I love working with her. So it's interesting you said that, because it's Wealth and Abundance portal, and I was painting these vines and these hearts, and what was starting to open up was like all these old stories about self-worth. And I was like, oh, why is
Mm.
this coming up? And it was
Mhm.
just really hard to be with. And then I was like, oh, of course, I'm working with these frequencies about value and being enough. And now I'm like, wow, it looks so beautiful. But that was really hard to go into.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's cathartic for you. And then because you brought that back, it's now accessible to others without them having to do that deep journey and that deep shadow work. And it's like, okay, I did the journey for you, just like a shaman
Mm-hmm.
does, and then brought back the gift, brought back the
Mm-hmm.
code.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love this. Um, okay, so I would love to shift here. I know that you have a practice that you would like to share with us. I just want to open up the space here for anything that you would like to share or lead us through, or
Okay.
whatever's open up
Sure.
for you.
I would love to do a light language transmission just so that people can feel that
Yeah.
and go with that, because it may activate their own light language. I believe that we all have the codes and we all have a voice, most of us anyway, and to allow that to come through with however it wants to come through. And you know, the beautiful thing about the codes is they know what you need. And it may mean something different for you than it does for this one. It can differentiate like a stem cell. It can differentiate into becoming this, into becoming that. We all start out from single cells, and they divide, and then they get these divine instructions. Oh, this is going to be an eye. This is going to be an arm. And it knows. And so as I'm releasing these codes and transmission, it can work on whatever your point of need is, whatever's ready to shift for you personally. Okay?
Wonderful.
All right, so I just like to get into my heart space. I'm going to come from my heart and not my mind. Yeah, and just open up and allow. Ya ukuramate urada kinyana ko ha de shondan elora kave oshtan nimakulaki ulatakada skuliana na 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 hirokukaki ruti kuraka kauron jinkuato kodionka yebastuha mashke mole a yakul ke kur ruskulukura idogunda machkuana ondokuamiate ove ale oshikanale otakaio ovale oshkano haniolave atikiro Tieshkondavala, Ola Haratakiokwama, Tiashonda Nonamale, O Halevitikio, Shknie Lo, Telaveo Nai Kinakakaye, Notarboku Ushkanamu, Have Onchinama, Ilokate, Oshkiravae, Ola Mate Kika. Mania kamanya. And so it is. You may feel that you're in a very relaxed state of being, where you are feeling the divine connection, where the mind is quiet and the emotions are calm. And now allowing the codes to activate, to move into their proper places and alignment, to do the most beautiful, powerful work that they have been intended from Source, from love and light, to accomplish at this time. And carrying that work on to completion, as it is divine ordered to be, in your personal ascension, opening the heart, the creativity, and following the guidance within to effect change without. Ola mataki osai shenyanai kwai.
So powerful. I'm just in awe of what just comes in. Just this alignment.
Yeah, it brings you to a place to remember your own alignment.
Wow. So you guys, so for those of you who are watching, hop in the Facebook group and share with us what came through. How was that experience for you? This, so the Facebook forum is completely safe, non-judgmental. This is a space for us to all explore and open up to this next wave, this golden era of ascension, light, and love and embodiment. And so we are going to be there for you, listening, supporting, and just share what comes through.
And if anyone would like to do a session with me, I offer a free 15-minute get to know you, just kind of talk about what's going on for you, and I can offer a little bit of light language there, and then we'll explore if it's being divinely orchestrated for us to work together on a deeper level. But I like to offer that free 15 minutes for anybody that would just go out to the website and sign up under the subscription, and that'll automatically put you in the queue for a session.
Awesome. Yeah, all that information is on this page, and it has been life-changing. It's really, really deep, subtle, and profound. So thank you so much for being here and for being a part of this. Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be a part of this and to offer the gifts of love and gratitude that I have for all of you.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, you guys. So happy that you are here with us. And please check out the rest of the interviews and the practices. We've got some amazing guests, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.